Hi, it's Brandon Smiley from thirstgym.com. Today we're talking about an exercise called the lateral step down. This is an incredibly challenging unilateral exercise that really will blow up the quads. I think this is great for VMO development, but you're also going to get some adductor and even some glute work if you can really work on the range of motion aspect. This is definitely an exercise where you're probably not going to load up a lot, especially with any kind of like younger sports performance athletes. You got those crazy athletes every now and then will definitely be able to load this up. But I really like this because, again, it's very humbling, but it really makes us own the position of our foot, our hip. We can kind of feel everything that's going on. And as a whole, I think it does a great job of developing, like I said, the quads. So you are going to want a box that's relatively high. And the way that I judge the box that I'm going to use, or I'm going to try to set up for an athlete, is I take the box, I set it up, I put my leg up here like this. If I can get below 90 degrees on my box, this is probably a good box. Okay, if I was like this, that's definitely too low of a box. And if I'm like here, that's probably too high. If in doubt, grab a higher box. Okay, so this for me is pretty good. I think this is what, like 20 inches or something like that. Yeah, so this is a pretty good box for me. I also like to start athletes off near a pole to be able to get some assistance, and then you try to drift them away from any kind of assistance if they need it. But definitely start by some kind of pole, rack, anything like that. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to get on the box here. I'm going to put my foot not in the middle, but not all the way on the edge, probably about 2 or 3 inches away from the edge of the box. I'm going to take my other leg and I'm going to just basically reach it down. Now, if you've ever seen like a Peterson step down or anything, where people will sit here and do this, okay, that's what we're going to start to do, but then we're going to try to go as low as we comfortably can and then push ourselves back up. And again, that's why the pole is pretty paramount. So I'm basically just going to try to reach this leg towards the ground while I keep my torso in a good quality position. So we don't want to be too far bent over whenever we do this. Make sure I can feel my whole foot. So that's a big thing. You want to be able to feel the heel, big toe, arch, everything of your foot when you're doing this. You definitely don't want to be able to wiggle your toes up, and you definitely don't want to have your heels come off. So really focus on full foot contact. As we're here, we're going to reach this leg straight down. We're going to slide down. I'm almost pushing my leg hip back, and then we're going to come back up. So these are kind of like my warm-ups. Here, then back down. Here. So as you can see, I'm really trying to focus on getting lower each time. Again, I'm going to hold on here. See if I can get down there. Nope, not quite. There we go. So that's all the way down. Then back up. So as you can see, that was pretty hard. And as I can tell, I can feel my hips getting loaded up as I do this correctly. I definitely felt some adductor there. Totally good, normal. And then back up. There we go. So as you can tell, that's a pretty challenging exercise. Again, as you're working with your athletes, you're beginning to teach them this exercise. Don't worry if they can't get all the way down, because most of them probably are not going to. They're probably going to get about here, and that's probably about it. And that's fine. The goal, as we build up rep ranges in that particular area, is to then focus on improving the range of motion. And then obviously your goal is then going to be able to get away, and as we go down, to be able to keep this good and comfortable is to reach forward and then come back up. So this would be the end product. It's kind of what we're going for each time. As I do that, I can feel, again, adductor, glute, tons of quad, just an overall very challenging exercise. So when it comes to programming, how are we going to implement this? Really, I think starting off with 8 to 10 reps per side and focusing on just trying to be able to build to where we can slowly get to our foot to the ground. You're not going to need load or anything like that. Monitor your athlete's progress, and then as you can get down to where they can touch, then you can maybe add in some eccentrics to where we just control all the way down, we step off the box, and then come back up. So that would look like this. We would come down here, down, can feel the work happening, and then I would just step back up and come again. Really trying to make sure we can get all the way down, strengthen the way down, and then when probably after a couple weeks of doing that, then you're probably gonna be ready to actually get down there and actually get some concentric reps as well. Again, the box height is important because, again, as you noticed, this is basically my in position here. This is below 9 degrees. This is definitely a range of motion that I should have access to as an athlete, probably almost in any sport, especially a younger age. But this is a lot of range of motion at the hip. So, I mean, that's why a really high box is actually kind of preferred for this exercise. So, again, rep ranges are probably going to be 6 to 10 per side, trying to build on depth for about 3 to 4 sets. And you could honestly probably run this exercise for months, especially if you're talking with an athlete that is just beginning to get the hang of something like this. You know, they've got the split squats and Bulgarians mastered and all that kind of stuff. And now we're really trying to teach them how to own position and make sure we can keep some mobility in the hips. This checks a lot of boxes. If you got any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.